In week 3 of the season, Oregon baseball brought out the bats and the brooms, sweeping Columbia in this home 4-game series. I'm your host, Ashley Davidson, and let's dive into some of the key moments at PK Park from this week in Oregon baseball. Now, this week was full of career highs and even a broken record. Ooh! In the first game on Friday, the Ducks defeated Columbia 20-11. Now, that's a lot of runs. They came so close to beating that program record of most runs, but wait. The Ducks beat the record on Saturday, absolutely duck stomping on those Columbia Lions, beating them 35-1 in the first game of the doubleheader. Then the Ducks kept things going in the second game of that day, defeating Columbia 8-3, and to make things that much better, the Ducks left the Lions scoreless in a 7-0 game. But enough about scores, let's get into some of the key moments of the weekend. For this series, the Ducks had some outstanding pitching that helped contribute to some scoreless games. The pitchers that stole the show this week for our moments on the mound are Cole Stokes, Santiago Garcia, Jason Wrights, and Will Sanford. Starting off with Jason Wrights, the 6'11" junior started off the first game of the doubleheader pitching 4 innings and had 6 strikeouts, only giving up 3 hits and 1 run, which if I had to face a pitcher that's almost 7 feet tall, I'd want to get out of the batter's box as fast as possible. Next up is Cole Stokes, the right-handed pitcher from Southern California, threw a short but still lovely 1 inning to close out the doubleheader. Stokes threw 2 strikeouts and didn't give up any runs or hits. Then we have Will Sanford, who started the last game of the series and threw a beautiful game. The freshman pitched 6 innings and only gave up 1 hit and no runs, and even had a career record of 7 strikeouts.
I'm gonna do you one better. I think there's even more and better stuff from that kid. Yeah, it's really something you got to see when he's rolling. And honestly, I don't think we saw that today. Obviously, he did his thing, but I'd say, there's a lot more things to be excited from that kid.
Then to wrap things up, later in that last game, we got to see a little more of Santiago Garcia, who pitched 4 strikeouts in only 1 inning and didn't give up any hits or runs. Wow, what a weekend for pitchers. But now we're going to take a look at the rest of the key defense for the Ducks. This week on Ducks on Defense, we have Jacob Walsh, Berkeley Mavias, and Anson Arrows. Starting off with our catcher and outfielder double threat Anson Arrows, who brought some more picture-perfect diving catches and added 17 outs in these 4 games. Then we have Jacob Walsh, the senior first baseman, who had 28 outs, made in this 4-game series, helping keep the Lions of Columbia off the bases. And lastly, we have our catcher outfielder double threat. Yes, I'm talking about freshman Berkeley Mavias, who made 24 outs and only played 3 of the 4 games this weekend, and this guy's only a freshman.
I think it's awesome that Burke is stepping up. We have some guys that are banged up, but him stepping up and taking on a role that is not hard, especially being a catcher. I think it speaks volumes to the person he is and the work that he puts in on and off the field. I really like what he's doing.
To wrap up this week in Oregon baseball, we have our Ducks at the dish, which is hard to pick just 3, especially when you have a weekend with a record-breaking runs and so many strong bats. But this week, Carter Girardi, Dominic Hellman, and Ryan Cooney stood out amongst the rest. First up is Dominic Hellman, the designated hitter, and this weekend he proved exactly why. Hellman hit 9 runs and 9 hits and 13 RBI and back-to-back grand slams in this weekend. Wow. Go off, Dominic Hellman.
I mean, I think everybody knows how far Dom can hit a ball, but to see him do it is pretty special.
Ryan Cooney, a sophomore who hit his first home run of the season, and on top of that, Cooney had a total of 10 runs, 9 hits, and 9 RBI. Now this made Duck fans and head coach Mark Wasikowski go cuckoo for Cooney Puffs.
Cooney had a lot. He might have been the MVP of our team this weekend. Cooney was on it, just competitive at-bats. He didn't have the gaudy, probably RBI totals, maybe that Dominic Hellman or some of the other kids had, but that did really well in some other columns. But gritty, tough at-bats. I don't think he had maybe but a couple at-bats slip away from him all weekend long. And he played solid defense, and he led just can't say enough about Ryan. He played really well.
And lastly, we have third baseman Carter Garrotti, who played in all 4 games this weekend and had 9 runs, 6 hits, and 8 RBI, making it quite an offensive weekend for the Ducks against Columbia. What an exciting week for Oregon baseball. Let's hope that the excitement continues when the Ducks play Utah Tech at home for 1 game on Tuesday. I'm your host, Ashley Davidson. We'll see you next time.